Good evening. Tonight, the Monday Night Sports Show concentrates on the biggest speedway meeting of the season in the central area. Coventry against Cradley. The region's top two teams, the region's greatest two rivals, and an extra ingredient going into this match, they are joint leaders of the British League. Coventry have played more matches, but having won by a single point at Hackney on Friday night, they make it 8 wins on the trot. And Cradley, well, they're the favourites to win the title. They're in sparkling form, and they've gone 17 matches now without defeat, including a big win over Coventry last month. Now let's move over and meet the two captains here, Ollie Olsen on the left from Coventry and Eric Gunderson from Cradley. First of all, Ollie, last year's match was absolutely fantastic, which we televised, with the match being decided to Coventry in the last heat.
Yes, we had a very good match, Gary, and I think you'll have a good one today. You know, the weather's been very good to us over the last month, and track's in very good condition, so I think you'll have a cracking match.
It's always a great match. There's a lot of rivalry. It's like a football cup tie, really, isn't it?
Well, I wouldn't class, but we try hard, and of course we want to win, and I know you support Cradley a bit, and you like them to win, but we've proved you wrong a couple of times, so, you know...
That's scandalous, that is, Ollie.
That's how it goes. It ain't that bad.
Eric, I mean, this is a big match for Cradley, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, really. We've really been looking forward to coming down here. And like Ollie said, you know, I think we're going to have a cracking match tonight. The weather's with us, and the track looks absolutely perfect. And it's always nice coming down here. So, like Ollie said, I think we'll have a cracker.
Well, what's it mean to the league title? You're joined at the moment. You've played 3 extra matches.
Yeah, I don't think it's a little bit early to say, and we've got to admit that Cradley do have a strong side, but that's why us as a little bit maybe underdog, we like to go and beat them, you know.
Well, you and I will be having running verbals all night, no doubt.
Well, we'll have a few maybe, but it's a good match, but no doubt they are going for the big do, you know, and they look pretty set, and I think that we've had a good run, and we got some boys here that can produce the goods when it matters, and that's what we're going to.
Okay, well, let's bring in the clerk of the course, Graham Snooks, now for the toss-up. Graham? Who's going to call? Heads. Ollie Olsen calls heads. It's a bit dusty down there. It's tails, so Eric Gunderson, the choice of...
We'll try 1 and 3, Ollie.
Let's just have a check on that coin.
Yes,
right. All the very
That's
best,
a big surprise, 1 and 3, isn't
all
it?
The best.
Well done.
Cheers.
Okay. Well, Ollie's off. Yeah, thank you very much. You're off in the first heat. So when Ollie goes off to get changed, Dave Lanning, our commentator, can now set up Heat 1 of this match, Coventry against Cradley.
And a huge crowd sweltering in almost tropical heat here at Brandon Stadium, Coventry, in expectation that the action on the track is going to be just as steamy as we come in for heat number 1. The two sides level at the top of the British League. Coventry have ridden 3 more matches. They have 18 points from 12 matches. Cradley Heath unbeaten after 9 matches. And the general feeling throughout Speedway that if a Coventry team in fine fettle cannot contain the Heathens, then really there's nobody who can. Ollie Olsen, the home skipper, such an inspirational force in the Bees camp, having prepared himself following a pretty torrid interview with Gary Newbon, ready for the action. He'll be in red here. Cradley Heath, as we saw, won the toss for grid positions. They'll be in grids 1 and 3. In heat 1, then they alternate unless one side or the other gets 6 points ahead, and then they take choice. There is the lineup for heat 1. On the inside in white for Cradley Heath, Simon Wigg, the golden boy, the new golden boy of English Speedway. Next to him, veteran Ollie Olsen, the Great Dane, in his farewell season in British Speedway in red. Grid 3 has Lance King in good form, this young American, recent winner of the Golden Hammer at Cradley, and on the outside, another Dane, Sam Nicolaisen for Coventry. So heat number 1, and the crowd are on their feet already. The atmosphere is tremendous, the weather's superb, the track is in peak condition. Here we go. And away from the tapes. It is Olsen, and then Nicolaisen has gone with him around the outside. But coming hard under him is Lance King, so Olsen leads it. In second place it's King, and King's in trouble and takes down Nicolaisen. And we have drama right at the top of the show. The race continues, but the light must come on because Nicolaisen is down. Referee Trevor Chamberlain. The red light is on, and it is the rider in blue. The blue light is on. It's Nicolaisen who has been excluded, and the crowd here at Coventry not happy with that. Well, who was to blame. You can see Lance King has missed the corner completely and taken Nicolaisen way out with nowhere to go but down. And, well, the Coventry camp could claim that was rough justice, one would think, on the evidence of our cameras.
Well, Sam, that looked very unlucky for you to be excluded there.
Well, yeah, and we was going good straight, and then Lance, what's like, he spiked up and he looked up and goes straight. And nothing I could do. If I just jumped my back, he nearly hit my legs, and I think he should have excluded Lance.
Well, let's show it to you now and see what you think of it as you see our pictures of the incident.
Yeah. So I'm going outside, and then just look at Lance now. Look at him. He's like, his bike's stuck there, and then he goes straight. There's nothing I can do. Look at him. Yeah, and now he's going straight. There's nothing I can do.
So it's a wrong decision to exclude you, you think?
Yeah, he's wrong. He was wrong. Yeah, you should get the referee down and see his tail. You can see it there.
Is it too late to protest to him?
I don't know. That's up to the manager.
You think that's very rough justice?
It was. Yeah, you can see it on the telly. There's nothing I can do.
So 3 only in the restart. Only Olsen on his own. Nicolaisen excluded. Coventry can gain nothing from this heat, and Cradley with everything to gain now in the rerun of heat number 1. Inside Wig, next to him Olsen, and then grid 3 King in yellow and black. Well, you can see already the temperature on track is beginning to match the temperature on the terraces. It really is the most beautiful evening. And here is Wig doing some cultivating, trying to find some grip, or maybe even get in the groove. Now, riders don't normally like to get into the groove there because it means they are inclined to snake and lose a bit of traction. Such tension here at Brandon. These matches are always tremendously exciting affairs, and this one looks like being full of that kind of potential. Here we go for the restart of Heat 1. And again, it is Olsen, although Wig is up under him here. Wig is with him, but Olsen is holding him back, and Olsen it is who breaks clear. Second place is Wig, third is King, and the crowd, the Coventry boys, the girls from Brandon, are on their feet cheering home their skipper. Olsen leads into lap 2. Time for Olsen to glance inside his left shoulder to see that Wig is, what, 10, maybe 5 lengths behind him. But Ollie Olsen, the rider who they reckon is Speedway's first millionaire, he's certainly got a million friends in British Speedway. This is the last lap, 335 metres around this Brandon circuit, which does look in absolutely superb condition. And Olsen is holding the bees in there to draw Heat 1, and just listen to that reception. Olsen leads it, second place Wig, third place King. And so Olsen has done all he really can in Heat 1 to keep the bees on terms. So with the scoring, 3 points for a win, 2 for a second, 1 for a third. Ollie Olsen's win there keeps Coventry on terms after 1 heat. Coventry 3, Cradley Heath 3. Moving into Heat 2, and this is the character who could be the key figure in this British League match. The reserve for Cradley, Peter Rawn. He's a Dane, and although he's down in the number 6 berth in the Cradley side, he is in fact the Coventry track record holder, which he set in the rain here while riding for his native Denmark in a test match. Signed by Cradley, snapped up indeed by the Heathens boss, Peter Adams from Bellevue, Manchester, and many people, knowledgeable folk in Speedway, are saying that that was the move that might win the Heathens this year's league championship title. The reserve race always important in these derby matches. It could swing it here. Let's see what happens as the 4 riders come under starters' orders for heat number 2. And it is Rawn who shows. Rawn's in front. Second place is Hawkins. Third is Miller. Peterson got a knock at the first corner, but it is the track record holder who hits the bottom corner here at Brandon in front, coming around over the line for 1 lap finish. Rawn leads it. Second place is Hawkins, and now Miller under a little bit of pressure from Peterson. Well, there is the distance. You can see the real battle here for the odd points at the back, with Peterson making up some ground on Rick Miller, this Californian protege of Bruce Pennell, of course. Cradley was Pennell's old side. And it looks, as we thought, although it's going to be a very tight one, and Miller missed the corner there and can't afford to do that kind of thing in a white-hot local derby against Cradley. Rectified the mistake. A win for Rawn in white. Second place, Hawkins. Third was Miller. Points divided again, so it's still absolutely level on 6 points apiece. Heat 3 brings into the action the engine room pairing in this Cradley side, with Phil Collins here, riding in the white helmet colour, of course, recently crowned the overseas champion. A bit of a surprise out in the World Championship, whereas his more illustrious brothers, Peter and Les, both went out of the title chase. So Phil will be on the inside here with partner Alan Graham, recently a proud daddy. He'll be in yellow and black. This pairing should know each other's style. They've been riding together for 2 years. For Coventry, it's Tommy Knudsen in red. He'll be in grid 2, who has made a miracle recovery from a broken wrist sustained just a couple of weeks ago. And on the outside in blue, Steve Bastable, the former British champion, who is riding, we are told, a new engine breathed upon by Otto Lantenhammer, the West German maestro, costing him £1,500, so a very expensive piece of machinery under Steve Bastable. Heat 3, the scores locked together at 6 apiece. On the inside, Phil Collins, Cradley. Next to him, Tommy Knudsen, Coventry, red. Grid 3 has Alan Graham, Cradley, yellow and black, and on the outside, Steve Bastable in blue. And really, all of these riders would be heat leaders at pretty well every other British League track. And here they are all in contest in heat number 3. And it's Collins who shows, and Graham going through on the inside, and it's Cradley 1-2 at the moment with Knudsen in third place. Now Tommy Knudsen trying the outside run on Graham. I think he's got round him as Collins locks up, and Knudsen has taken the Cradley pairing on the bottom corner there, and that was fine speedway from the young Dane. So Knudsen leads it. Second place, Phil Collins doing wheelies, ducking, diving all over the place. Really spectacular stuff. And now here comes Bastable challenging hard on the shoulder of Alan Graham for third place. Well, it's marvellous speedway, and the battle now developing for the odd point at the back, with Bastable now keeping it all blasting all around the outside, and Graham busting it up to try and keep him out. There's the leader. Where is the battle for third place? And Graham took Bastable very wide. Seemed to settle it there. They're giving nothing away here in this local derby. Well, we didn't expect they would. Knudsen, fine win from him. Second place, Collins. Third is Graham. Still the scores are level, 9 apiece. And that really was a cutthroat Heat 3. Well, you've only got to make one mistake in a derby between Coventry and Cradley. You can see Knudsen going past Alan Graham, who made a little bit of a hash of entry to that corner. Now watch Phil Collins up front in white, because he pulls a horrendous full locker, and all Knudsen really needs to do is to keep his line going as Collins loses momentum, and Knudsen showing that who dares wins, goes around the outside of both the Cradley pairing in a crucial manoeuvre in heat number 3. And as we come into heat 4, the Heathens will be looking to Eric Gunderson, their new skipper, who assumed that mantle from Bruce Pennell, to lift them and give them some inspirational boosts. One senses perhaps Eric hasn't been quite so consistent or quite so explosive this year as in past years, but maybe the responsibility of being the skipper is weighing a little heavily, but he's still a very, very fine rider. And he'll be on the outside grid here in heat number 4. We look at the Coventry rider coming into the action for the first time. He's the rider in the red helmet colour on the inside, Gary Gouldimi, this very tough, nuggety Australian of Maltese extraction, who has assumed a heat leader role here at Brandon and performed nobly for Australia in the World Pairs final, where here in Billy Sanders, quite frankly, were a little unlucky to lose the title. So you'll get no gifts from Gary Gouldimi, a really tough lad who puts himself around at the first corner. Have a look at the lineup. Gouldimi on the inside. Next to him, Peterson, Jan Peterson, didn't score first time out for Cradley. He's in yellow and black. Kevin Hawkins, who had a second place in heat 2, he's in grid 3 in blue. And on the outside, Eric Gunderson in white. Nothing in it at all. 9-9 to score. This is heat number 4. And we're right In amongst them, we'll watch for Eric Gunderson's left hand on the clutch as the tapes go. Away they go. And from the inside it is Guglielmi, from the outside here comes Gunderson. He sweeps around the boards and moving into third place crucially. It is Peterson. So it is Gunderson leading. Guglielmi is second. Peterson is third. Tailed up at the back, Kevin Hawkins. Well, a very large contingent of Heathens fans here. Now beginning to sense that their side could get their noses in front here. Gunderson looking immaculate, in complete control of heat number 4. Second place Guglielmi, striving to get on terms with him, but making no inroads at all as they move into the last lap. And Hawkins moves up onto the back wheel of Peterson, but the young Dane looks fairly safe in third place. Over the line goes Gunderson, and Cradley move into the lead by 2 points. He wins it. Second place Guglielmi, third place was Peterson. And so the unbeaten Heathens now in front by 2 points. Well, there's more than just money in Speedway, as you can see, judging by the talents around the pits there. It's better than being a pop star. And some very pretty girls there getting a glimpse of their idol at very close range. Oh, look out, Gladys, here come those nasty bikes. Well, there is the focal point of much of the feminine attention here at Brandon. Tommy Knudsen in red, a most impressive race winner from the back in his opening ride. And now with Coventry trailing by 2 points, I'll be looking to Knudsen's brilliance to pull them back on terms in Heat 5. Let's have a look across the lineup. On the inside in yellow and black, Lance King for Cradley. Next to him we have Tommy Knudsen in red. Grid 3 has Simon Wigg in the white helmet colour, who had a second place first time out. And on the outside it is Steve Bastable, yet to score on this very expensively tuned motor. He'll be hoping it will be beating a little bit more explosively here in heat number 5. So 11-13 the score. Really has been so very tight. Just one mistake has cost points as they settle down for heat 5. That's a good start from Knudsen. Knudsen makes it to the first corner. Where is Bastable? He's been squeezed out. Around the outside has come Simon Wigg, but Knudsen leads it. Second place Wigg. Third place is King. And Bastable way at the back as the Heathens sort themselves out to challenge Knudsen. Bastable tried to squeeze up on the inside there, but Wigg was aware of him. So it would appear that the Heathens will just be content to stonewall here. Knudsen has gone clear, and he really does look in invincible mood this evening, Tommy Knudsen, with this really tremendous recovery from a broken wrist. He must be the quickest healer in the world, this lad. Now, Bastable still trying as they come into the last lap, but the Heathens seem to be well aware of his presence and well able to contain it. I'll be happy with this. I'll just sit back here in second and third place, Cradley, knowing that a divided heat here will mean there's still 2 points in front overall. Knudsen wins it. Second place on the line, King. Third place, Wigg. Bastable nowhere. Still the Heathens, 2 up. Well, there is the score, and we have now had 5 heats. The Heathens hanging on in there, just 2 points in front. They have 16 now. Coventry, as you see, have 14. And we move on to heat number 6, which is really a little bit more like High Street Copenhagen than Brandon Stadium Coventry. 4 Danes, 2 from each side. We have got on the inside the somewhat unlucky Sam Nicolaisen, who is still grumbling a little about the justice meted out to him in Heat 1 when it did look to all intents and purposes, although he got a shove when he went down. He's on the inside. Next to him in yellow and black, Peter Rawn, who looked a resourceful race winner first time out. Grid 3 will have the daddy of them all, Dane-wise, Ole Olsen, and on the outside Eric Gunderson in white, the Cradley skipper, who steered his side happily into the lead with a race win in his first ride. So really, it's Ole Olsen, and really all 3 of these riders in here with him might be described as his prodigies. So it is the very lively old hen with 4 not-so-cheap chicks here. Fascinating confrontation. Can the pupils contain and beat the master? There's the line-up, as you can see, the scores with the Heathens in front by 2 points. Both the Cradley Danes here won their opening ride, so obviously are on form. Can Olsen split them, contain them, beat them? Let's see, heat 6. And Olsen's been squeezed out of the corner. It's Nicolaisen who leads it. Nicolaisen in front. Second place, it is Gunderson. Third is Raum. And Ollie Olsen got really squeezed out and trying the outside run and gets really left on the bottom corner here. That's Brandon. So Nicolaisen leads. And it is the pupils showing the teacher the way home at this moment. And that really is a surprise. Such is the tension, such is the parity of these local derbies, that you really can ill afford one mistake, and it can be the difference between winning handsomely and finishing ignominiously at the back. It must be said that a bookmaker would have given you pretty good odds of Nicolaisen winning this one, but he's going to, unless he does something extremely silly around the last 2 corners, which he does not do. He wins it. Second place, Gunderson. Third, Raum. Only Olsen, the Great Dane, whisper it softly at the back, so Heathen's still in front, but little Nicolaisen is delighted with life. Look at that gesture. You can see how much that win means for him. On the inside, Alan Graham in yellow and black from Cradley. Next to him, Kevin Hawkins with 2 points to his credit and a last. Grid 3 has Phil Collins, who looked well set until pulling a full locker in his opening ride. And on the outside, this durable Aussie Gary Guglielmi in red. And it is now Hawkins who's holding up proceedings. There's Guglielmi. It's a big lad, a bit on the big side for a speedway rider. They tend to say the good little uns will always beat the good big uns, but then riders like Barry Biggs disprove that theory. Graham on the inside then, next to him Hawkins. Grid 3, Phil Collins, on the outside Guglielmi. The score, 17 Coventry, 19 Cradley. There's the throttle hand, you can see the twist grip, you can see the ignition cut out there, that piece of cord, which in theory should cut out the engine if the rider parts company with the bike. Here we go, heat 7. Away we go to the first corner, and Guglielmi and Graham hit the corner in front. Guglielmi leads it. Graham is right beside him there in third place. Crucially, it is Hawkins and Collins at the back, and Collins comes roaring around the bottom turn and gets around the outside of Hawkins. And now Graham is up there challenging boldly on Guglielmi, and Guglielmi's out with the dirties, and it's really thrilling stuff. About a length between them, neither again giving anything away. Gary Guglielmi just really must watch his inside, because Graham's up inside him again. And again, he's tried to close him down, and Graham might just have got the drop on him here. Yes, he has, and it really was ruthless speedway. Neither giving an inch away, and Guglielmi's in trouble, and now has Phil Collins. And this is an important race for Cradley, because at one stage it looked like they might take a 4-2 deficit, and now Guglielmi's having to struggle to contain Phil Collins on the last lap. And Collins, we know, will have a real go this time, locking back. Will he get the drop on him coming up to the line? Not quite. Graham wins. Second place Guglielmi, third place Phil Collins. But a vitally important heat for the Heathens, who looked at one stage to be on the receiving end, who reversed that and moved now further in front by 4 points.
Alan Graham, that must be a very important win for Cradley, and what a way you did it.
Yeah, well, it's on the TV now. I was on gate 1. Come to the corner now. It's on the inside, and Gary Guglielmi came round me in the dirt. Got a good run, and as you can see, he's in front of me. But I kept plugging away and pressuring him on the inside. I thought I was a bit faster than him coming into the turns. Nearly touched him once when I dived under him hard. But in the end, I think Gary just moved. I got under him and frightened him a little bit, I think, and he just moved over, and I was through. So I got level with him up the straight, got under him, he's hit this corner, and just got the drive coming out and just squeezed to the front. And like you say, it was a vital part of the match for Cradley. We're now 4 points in front, so I'm pleased about that.
every point counts at this stage, Gareth.
Heat 8. On the inside we have Sam Nicolaisen, who certainly has been fired by that early exclusion. He won his last race looking a real pocket full of dynamite, only 4'10", but what a goer this lad. So Heat 8, every race now is so vitally important. Away this time, and up on the inside, it's Miller who shows. Miller shows. Second place is Nicolaisen. Third place is King, and this is a bit more like it for Coventry, and here comes Lance King challenging hard around the outside of Nicolaisen. What a start from Miller from grid 3. And now Nicolaisen will try and run King out wide. He's looking for him. And this is just what the Bees wanted, because if they stay like this, it will level it all up here at Heat 8. Now this is Rick Miller, who took his time to settle in British Speedway, but my, the lad has improved since the last time we saw him. He really is stretching them. And Lance King, the Californian, who is indeed an Intercontinental finalist, has shown nothing at all of the form that won him the Golden Hammer. He really has been left in the wake of the Coventry pairing here around the last corner. And just listen to the Brandon faithful applaud Rick Miller and Sam Nicolaisen. Well, the very personable Rick Miller milking the applause as well he might. He's a nice lad, this. He's become a great favourite here. And so that most business-like 5-1 Heat win by Coventry draws them back level at Heat 8. 24 all locked together, and what a climax we're going to have. Well, perhaps the key figure in this fixture is Steve Bastable, because he hasn't scored yet for Coventry, which is a disappointment on that Super Tune new bike. Didn't look too Super Tune to us, and now he has switched back onto one of his reserve machines, and it could be a telling factor the way this British League fixture goes, just how well he will respond, because Bastable unquestionably on his night has the beating of anybody in the world. Former British champion, whose points tally so far has really been the Achilles heel in the Bees' attack. So there's Steve Bastable, and Coventry will be looking to him here to pick up his performance. Across the lineup on the inside, Peter Rawn with 4 points for Cradley in yellow and black. Then Bastable in blue in grid 2. Grid 3 has Eric Gunderson with 5 points, a win and a second place. And on the outside, Tommy Knudsen, unbeaten and looking really in the most prodigious form. He's come from the back, he's looked good up front. The wrist injury doesn't seem to be troubling him at all, and showing all the form that took him to third place in that famous Bruce Pennell World Final at Wembley. The last one, incidentally, that will ever be staged, which is a great shame. Knudsen, we know, is world class. The scores are level 24 each. Really, the stage set for a theatrical finish to yet another tremendously memorable local derby between Coventry and Cradley. Here we go for Heat number 9. It looks like Bastable's burning coal down there. The tapes have been broken. Now the tapes have been broken, and really somebody should come out, and we'll look to see what's the referee, Trevor Chamberlain. And he has ruled all 4 back in, and that tape breaking has given Steve Bastable a fresh chance to consider his mechanical problems. See the mechanics working frantically. It looks like the magic box coming off, and Bastable's gone to the pits for the spare bike. So Bastable on yet another machine. And now Olsen, he's got another bike ready for Bastable. And I think they've got his reserve bike ready. We saw them changing the ignition box. So Bastable, well, he's changing mounts more regularly than Lester Piggott. And down in the pits there is Gary Newman with the man who knows all the moves. That's team manager Mick Bell. Gary, over to you.
Mick Bell, Coventry team manager. What exactly was all that drama about?
Well, Stevie's been having a lot of bike problems, and his ignition box was playing up there, and we just changed the box for him. But in the meantime, Ollie lent him his own bike, just in case he couldn't do it in time, you see.
Has Ollie just gone back on his own bike?
Yes, he has. So Steve's on his own bike there now.
it has been increasingly important to make the start. We have noticed that this perfectly prepared Brandon circuit, when a rider gets in front, he doesn't normally make mistakes. Gunderson again is impatient, and tapes were definitely broken there, and there must be a guilty culprit for the second time, and it is Gunderson in white and red, the two riders. Well, this is a surprise. Gunderson goes, and the red light is also on. Well, now we are going to have some theatricals, because both the heat leaders, Gunderson in white and Knudsen, have been excluded for breaking the tapes. Let's have another look at the second tape break. They're on the outside, remember, white and red. Now, who is the guilty man? You can see Gunderson's pushing them. Gunderson pushes them. Now, they're still stood still, and then they go again, and it looked as though Knudsen was tempted through, and you can see Gunderson there in grid 3 has also moved. So, a dramatic decision by the referee, 2 only in the restart of Heat 9. There's Tommy Knudsen on the phone to the referee. Knudsen obviously unhappy about that, but our evidence showed that certainly it would seem that he was tempted through, maybe by Gunderson.
But Eric Gunderson, when we can show you it again. Eric, how did you see it?
Well, you know, everything is getting a bit tense now, you know, because it took so long for Steve Bastable to get ready. And we're really getting revved up now, you know. I mean, we want to get going, and both of us touched the tapes, you know, and I think both of us was to blame, you know, and that's why the referee has put us out.
Tommy?
Well, you know, as Eric said, we were both in them, but I still reckon Eric was in them first. But I think we should both be in the race anyway. He can't exclude 2 of us.
Well, he's done it.
Yeah. Well, I just went on the phone to him, but he won't speak to me, so there's nothing I can do.
Well, coming in to replace Eric Gunderson, we have Jan Peterson, and Peterson hasn't had much of a night, really. Just 1 point from 2 starts, so again, Heat 9 could have a vitally important effect on the overall result of this fixture. We saw that Rick Miller, in his last ride, who's coming in for Knudsen, won most impressively. He has 4 points so far. So let's have a look at the revised lineup across the starting grid. On the inside, in yellow, we have Peter Rawn for Cradley. Next to him now, Steve Bastable in blue. Then in white, coming in for Eric Gunderson, it's Jan Oswald Peterson in white. And on the outside, it's Rick Miller. And we'll keep an eye on Miller from the start, because he was really slippy away from those tapes on his last outing. 24-24, Knee, we remind you the score. And as Eric Gunderson said, we're all getting fired up out there as the climax to this British League fixture approaches. Here we go for Heat 9, 3rd time of asking. And let's hope we get them away cleanly this time. Away they go, and again Miller, it seems, has got the jump now from the inside of his drawn, and coming hard around into his Bastable. Bastable and Miller, the Bees 1-2, and Steve Bastable looks to have got the bike, beating sweetly this time. So it is the Bees up front, Bastable inside, Miller now roaring around the outside, looking most impressive, and way back it's Peterson. And so Coventry have turned this British League match on its head with a 5-1 last heat. Looks like they're going to get another one here unless something terribly unexpected happens. And Rick Miller, this very likeable Californian who took, as Gary Newbon said, a lot of unfair stick early on, is becoming the hero of the night. And there are many in Speedway who will applaud that. So again, the Coventry crowd, who were getting a little bit desperate, are now on their feet, and just listen as they acclaim their lads over the line for the 2nd consecutive maximum heat win. Well, what a difference a couple of races can make. Coventry now have reversed the scoreline. They are now 4 in front. Coventry 29, Cradley Heath 25, and now we look to the Heathens to respond. You can see our cameraman basking in the sultry evening, and though the temperature might be dropping meteorologically, it's beginning to go up through the roof out there on the track, because we have 4 to go, and Coventry now 4 in front. Interesting to record that their relative newcomers, Sam Nicolaisen and Rick Miller, unbeaten in their last 4 races, which really has turned this British League match around. And Nicolaisen is in here again in heat 10. He'll be on the inside. Let us have a look at the lineup from the inside. Nicolaisen, who has won his last 2 races, paid for a win anyway in one of them, so he's unbeaten by a rival in his last 2. Next to him, Alan Graham, who really is a merciless customer, who ruthlessly moves his opponents aside. He's only a slight little lad, but he really does get stuck in. Ollie Olsen in grid 3 will be anxious to atone for a coconut he collected last time out. And on the outside, Phil Collins, who has a 2nd place and a 3rd to his credit from his 2 starts. And Olsen, the wily old fox, is just trying to calm things down, perhaps for himself, and to increase the tension for his rivals. Alan Graham, who's nobody's fool, goes with him. You can see there, Phil Collins just allowing the clutch to cool down, taking the rear wheel off the shell. And really, you sincerely could boil an egg on the atmosphere out there. Here we go for heat 10. Nicolaisen inside, next to him Graham. Grid 3 Olsen, outside Phil Collins. 29-25 the score in Coventry's favour. 4 heats to go. This is heat 10. And they are straining at the leash. And again, it is the Coventry pairing who show. Although Olsen got a knock at the first turn, it's Nicolaisen in front. 2nd place is Graham. 3rd is Olsen at the back. It is Collins. And Olsen won't be happy with being squeezed up there, but Nicolaisen is riding the race of his life as Phil Collins charges hard under Ollie Olsen. Nicolaisen still in front. He's lost his helmet colour, but it is the little Dane. 2nd place is Graham. Olsen has Phil Collins bursting, thrusting, trying to get through on the inside of him. Oh, what a little fireball Nicolaisen's turned out to be. Says he was knocked off in his first ride. And he's grown in stature since that moment. Hasn't been beaten by a Cradley rider. And he's heading home in an international Alan Graham. Trying to look over his shoulder almost impotently. Could be Coventry's match winner, little Sam Nicolaisen. He wins heat 10, 2nd place Graham, 3rd Olsen. Takes them 6 points up, and Nicolaisen again. He's loving it, every moment of it. It's only 4'10", but every inch pure TNT. A marvellous moment there between the old master and really the young pretender. And Ollie is absolutely proud of his young protege, no question of that. So just 3 heats left, and Coventry swing into a magical 6-point lead, 33-27, and that 6 points advantage means now that Cradley, Heath and their master tactician team manager Peter Adams can call in a tactical substitute here, which means he can bring in an on-form team member to replace an off-form team member. And rather, as we suspected, the Heathens pull in a tactical substitute. It is Eric Gunderson there in yellow and black, as the going really gets torrid. So let's have a look at the revised lineup as Gunderson settles down. He comes in for teammate Lance King, who's had a disappointing evening. On the inside there is going to be Gary Guglielmi in red. Next to him in white, Simon Wigg. Rick Miller in grid 3 in blue, who's won his last 2 races. And on the outside, tactical sub, Eric Gunderson in yellow and black for Cradley. So the Heathens throwing it all in now in heat number 11. Only 3 races left, they're 6 adrift. They must gain something surely here if they're to stay in touch. And it looks like they might, although Guglielmi's made a good start. Around the outside comes Gunderson. Gunderson leads it, tactical substitution paying off at this stage. In 2nd place it is Guglielmi, in 3rd place it's Wigg, and Miller still in touch at the back. There is the battle. Gary Guglielmi is inclined to go a little wide and leave a hole down the inside. You know, the outside is where the dirt is, certainly middle and out anyway. Gunderson leads number 11, looking back over his shoulder to see where his partner is. Well, they're gaining advantage here, but they surely would have liked a 1-2. Guglielmi spinning him up. Into the last lap. Just 335 perfectly prepared metres of Brandon Shelway. Simon Wigg, who hasn't made a start all night, still trying to find a hole through Gary Guglielmi, doesn't do so. Win for Gunderson, second place Guglielmi, third place Wigg. So now it's 4 points in it with 2 races left. And so as these new super lights at Brandon Stadium come on here, you can see the score with 2 to go. Coventry now just 4 in front, 35 points, Cradley Heath, and we are all set for a blood-tingling finish. Steve Bastable, who suddenly has had a rebirth of form after struggling desperately early on with the mechanical problems, really got it right in his last ride, finishing behind his partner for a crucial 5-1. And now it's Heat 12 with the possibility of Coventry consolidating and indeed taking the points here. Cradley really must gain something from Heat 12, and Bastable could be the important figure for them here. So Bastable on the inside in blue, and next to him in yellow and black, Phil Collins, who has 3 points from 3 starts. Grid 3 has Ollie Olsen in red, who has 4 points from 3 starts. And on the outside, we have Eric Gunderson coming in 2 on the trot, and he has a total of 8 points. And it's a point of statistical interest that at this stage, Coventry have had 7 heat winners, and Cradley Heath have only had 4, and this man, Eric Gunderson, has taken 2 of those. So a clear case that the Heathens have stonewalled and tucked in behind some brilliant front running by Coventry up to this stage of the match. 2 to go, Heat 12, 35-31. Remember, if Coventry can split them here, they can only snatch a draw in the last race, but if Coventry gain any advantage from Heat 12, it will put the British League out, the British League match anyway, out of the grasp of Cradley Heath, and would be their first British League defeat of the season. So it could all be wrapped up here, although one fancies that the Cradley pairing might have some other thoughts about that proposition. And well, it's a game of bluff. Olsen turns back, Gunderson turns back. Ollie, well, there's no more master tactical rider than this man. Triple world champion in his farewell season, still in the World Championship. We'll be seeing that on ITV, the Intercontinental Final, and there will be many, many who would applaud if Ollie Olsen could go out on a high note in the World Final in Norden in September. We'll be seeing that on ITV as well. So here we go, they're settling down now. Heat 12, everything to race for. Coventry 4 up. The start, so vital. Gunderson's moving away, they go this time. And it is Olsen, and moving into the lead, Phil Collins. Collins leads it. Second place is Bastable. Coming round the outside, it is Olsen, and Gunderson is at the back. And we didn't expect that. And Bastable has moved inside Phil Collins and moved him over. And Gunderson's moved inside Olsen, and Olsen has withstood the pressure. Or has he? He just gets squeezed out as Bastable moves up front. This really is super speedway. Olsen fighting back for the 3rd place point. Gunderson is under him though to split him up. Bastable takes a hasty look over his inside shoulder. He's in trouble. His bike has stopped. Oh, what a tragedy for the bees. So, the Heathens are presented with 4 points here short. They're into the last lap. Bastable is disconsolately marching back across the centre green. Moments like that win and British League matches and maybe even British League titles. And Ollie Olsen makes the last despairing effort, but it's a win for Collins. 2nd place Gunderson, 3rd Olsen. Means the scores are level as we go into the last heat. And well, you wouldn't really script it, would you? Well, there is the home corner of the pits, and Ollie Olsen barking out, clearly upset about the fortune. It must be said he was the one that said anything can happen in Speedway. I think he's more concerned about the mechanical preparation of Steve Bastable, because that really has again turned this incredible British League match upside down.
Well, we've had a bad run, Gary. You know, he's had some very good... The kid rode like a world champion, you know, and he goes out, he stops, he sees, he does everything. Westlake's just done his engines, and they're absolutely flying. But there's something wrong with his ignition or his carburetors and that. You don't see his 4 engines in a row, and it's tough luck on him, but it's very disappointing for the team as a whole because he can do it and he can go, and there's no excuse for it. We can't afford to stop every race.
You just asked Tommy Knudsen to go and win it for you. This is really important to you now, this match.
It's very important, and every match I do in this is important. And,
but this one's got something special, hasn't it? There's a lot of tension.
well, we've got to win the league, you see, and if we don't beat them, we don't win the league. And we are a better team than them are tonight. We may not be as strong, but we pull better than they do. We can put it together when it matters, and we go as this full size. That's why we deserve to win, and we will win. Watch it, it'll be 40-38.
You said that a few minutes ago.
I'll put my money on that again, Gary.
That's another fiver I've lost.
Make it 50 this time, will you?
And so we come into the last heat, and once again, well, our friends over in Crossroads couldn't have scripted it better because it's 36 apiece. Level scores, we've had the theatricals, we've had the dramas, and now I'm sure we've got 4 laps of absolutely spine-tingling speedway to come to sort out this British League match. Let us have a look. There is Simon Wigg in white there, one of the Cradley contestants, hasn't won a race yet. Alan Graham has won a race, he's in yellow and black. Let us have a look at the inside. Last year it was 36 all, we remember at this stage. Alan Graham on the inside, Tommy Knudsen. Olsen said, go win it for me, son. He's in blue. Grid 3 has Simon Wigg. On the outside it's Gary Guglielmi, and really the Coventry pairing will need to make the jump. They can't afford to let Alan Graham, who has the inside grid, which might just be the crucial factor here. And the crowd, well, the noise is absolutely deafening. Who on earth said Speedway is a dying sport? It's a very lively course. Here we go, Heath 13, it's all on this one. Cradley unbeaten, remember, in the league. And could this race decide the league championship? They're away. And here's it throws, it is Knudsen. Knudsen's away, the Cradley pairing going after him, and we look for Gary Guglielmi to burst through. Here comes Guglielmi down the inside of the Cradley pairing. Knudsen in front, and Guglielmi may just be moving through. And it's Graham that's holding him back. And it's awfully tight there as Graham tries to block Guglielmi, and Guglielmi's moved into 3rd place, and Graham is all over the place trying to stop him, and the Coventry crowd are on their feet as Gary Guglielmi moves up on the inside of Alan Graham, and it's so tight. Graham closes down, but this will do for Coventry if Guglielmi can stay here. Knudsen's a mile up front. The battle is really for 2nd place. And 3rd place as Guglielmi swings out. Simon Wigg coming hard back at him. They're into the last lap. What a climax that stays this way. The Bees will snatch it in the very last heat. And really, all the unbiased ones in the crowd here can't really be judging their success because they haven't had the best of luck. It's going to be 40-38, and that's just the way Muhammad Ali, Ollie Olsen read it. What a victory. And here comes Ollie out to greet his lad in his farewell season. Who will begrudge this man who's done so much for British Speedway, so much for Midland Speedway, his moment. Just look at this. You'd think they'd won the league, but they've certainly beaten Cradley Heath in the most dramatic fashion in the very last heat. And the happiest man is Ollie Olsen. There's Mick Bell. Look at Olsen. He's won the world title 3 times, but I don't think I've ever seen him this happy. Well, there's so many heroes. Knudsen, a most professional job. But don't let's forget Gary Guglielmi, who grabbed the vital point from the back. Up in the air goes Knudsen. Well, I hope they don't damage that broken wrist. Oh, what a moment. What a magical telly. Oh, and over there now, Guglielmi. Guglielmi gets the victory roll. And Coventry celebrates, and so do we, because we've had another Speedway Classic. Oh, I think...
No, you won fiver, there it is. There's the £5. I better get rid of that first of all. Bring in Gary.
I'll tell you what, Gary, I'll put it back. Next time, you double it.
Okay.
Next time I see you.
All right. What do you mean? I've just got my fiver back. He's a sporting man, Mr. Olsen.
Gary, you're great.
I'll tell you what you better do. Take that and give him a good drink. Get the team a drink, because Gary won that for you at the end there, didn't you? I know the team had done it.
Tremendous.
6 years in a row, mate.
Tremendous, mate. I love it. And that's how we want it. I told him, what a side we got here. We can do him. He's even got a broken hand, mate. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, give us some, mate.
So, I'll tell you what, he was trying to say it was just another match to him.
Mate, I come in here, mate, and all I could see was people jumping over the fence. What are they saying? Take it easy and play.
Get going, mate. Yeah, you were there, Gary. You were there for the point. Gary, this is Speedway at its very best.
It was a tremendous meeting.
But you've got to give credit to the stadium. That track was prepared for fair racing, no messing. No advantage for us, because we like them a little bit slicker. And Charles says, I ain't having that. We put on like we were prepared for a big night and for the TV, and so it's nice and watered properly and tremendous speedway. And that's what we got to give him. He treats it fair, and that's why in the end we come out on top.
Well, it was certainly a very, very good meeting, Ollie. Thank you very much indeed. We've got Speedway again next week on the Monday Night Sports Show. This time we're going to see if Cradley can close the gap on Coventry, because Coventry are the new British League leaders. There's matches during the week, of course. But next Monday night, we'll be back with Cradley against Poole. And if it's anything like tonight, then please don't miss it.